Hey there. Today I would like to talk about ego and its role in survival. Now, takes an important role in the psyche. At the same time, in psychology and in different fields, we are aware that ego doesn't always exhibit behaviors or thoughts or feelings that are beneficial to the person. But in case of survival, ego steps up to maintain the psychological and physical survival of the person. Physically speaking, it motivates the person to go seek food or anything that it needs for its physical survival: water, food, shelter. On a psychological aspect, it motivates the person to keep the psyche intact. For example, like the need to belong or loved or socialize with other people. And these are the basics needs that are important for our survival. At the same time, we are not cavemen anymore and we don't deal with survival just on a real danger aspect. Most of our daily life, unless there's a tragic event that leads us back to a real danger where we're physically or psychologically need to survive, most of everyday life has to do with the ego dealing with things that are not at first seem like they have to do with survival, but on a second look, we notice that they are about this. For example, a person who doesn't like their job but needs the money goes to their work every day. At this workplace, they deal with a boss that forces them to do things that they don't want to do. For example, doing the work for the boss or even doing the work or staying after hours in order to finish work. Now, the person, because of their need for money in order to have a roof over their heads and food on the table, they go on with all of this that is happening to them in order just to have this. So the aspect of the physical survival has to do with them needing the money in order to attain their physical needs. But in terms of a psychological survival, they end up using the ego's defense mechanisms in order to be able to continue within their jobs, avoiding their boss, being passive aggressive, pressing their feelings towards their boss, and even rationalizing their own thoughts towards the boss, that this is my boss, I have to do what they tell me to do, etc., etc. So as you see here, there's a psychological aspect to survival. This person may continue with their job for a very long time, for years, and even though everything seems on the surface that it's going well with this person doing what we do every day, right? But really what's happening to this person is they are constantly under stress. They're constantly activating their fight or flight mechanism. And this stress obviously has physical and psychological effects. This type of living is not exactly a content life or even a satisfied life, even if the person tries to convince themselves it is so. Because the person is not really doing anything that has to do with them enjoying life. They're going through the motions. And many people, even though they may deny that, they do this. And they try to say, well, okay, this is what we all do, this is what we need to do. And then during the weekend or when they have a vacation, they end up trying to compensate, which is another coping strategy that ego uses in order to continue on with this life. Now, you might ask, well, I have no other choice. You might say, well, most people don't have any other choice. They need to eat. It's true, we all do. But in reality, it can't be possible. We have no other choice than to continue to put our bodies and our psyches in such levels of stress continually. And then ask and tell ourselves, well, it's okay, or even if we're honest with ourselves, we say, well, I know this is bad, but I have no other choice. People, and this is another aspect of ego where it tells you that any other option may not be a good idea because it might change things and you might lose what you already have. And that's obviously in a survival instinct. You want to keep what you have and not just risk it away. But at the same time, what you're doing is you're continuing with a negative and not beneficial situation. And what one does usually is you keep this in order to feel stable. You keep the job, or whatever situation is happening with you, and then usually search for something better. But at the same time, we need to take into account that when you search for something, you're not really repeating what you did in the past. You're learning from what happened in your old job, and you need to look for something that you actually enjoy going to or actually enjoy doing. There's no one that doesn't have some type of interest or hobby in something. Does that mean maybe you may not be able to do it because you don't have a degree, or you don't have something that is a skill needed? But that's what motivates you to get to where you want to be. Now, the important thing is, as I've been continuously saying in this series of videos, is being aware of when our ego puts us in the survival track. That doesn't have to be that way unless there's an actual reason where we need to be on a survival track. And in order for our lives to be more enjoyable, in order for us to be less stressed and less burned out, we need to find ways to get what we want, even if it takes a few risks or takes some steps to get something that is much more beneficial for us. Until next time, bye.